Hello everyone, apologies for the delayed start, but welcome to round 4 of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. We currently have every driver out on a lap, and the first person who's going to set a lap looks like it's going to be Marshy. So we'll ride on board with him now as he goes now through the Saudi Arabian track. I've been in a bit of a rush trying to get this grid together. We had, I think, only 8 drivers officially racing tonight, and now we only have, we're going to have 18, which is, to be honest, it's brilliant having the big serve and being able to pack out pretty much the whole grid. So as Marshy comes to the end of his first sector, it is a 32.4. It's not bad, but it's already been beaten by, I think that's the Red Bull of days behind us. Now he goes through the long left-hander of turn 13 and down now towards this really, really tricky next right-left chicane here that you need to get almost perfect and keep as much speed as you can. You might get a little bit of a tow as well off his Mercedes teammate of Harrison as they head all the way down, and Harrison wouldn't have a great history with this corner at all if he's able to get out of the way for Marshy. I don't know if he has yet. There's a little bit of lag, a little bit of connection issues, but everything at the moment seems to be going quite okay here as Marshy gets even more of a tow off his teammate here, who eventually now moves out of the way, and Marshy is going to go round the final corner of turn 27 to the line now. Marshy is going to set, he'll be in the 27s. It's a 27.7. Can it be beaten by days behind? No, it can't, but it can be beaten by the Romanian of Alex Zen. Behind him is Lucas Paul with a very impressive lap, goes with a 27.7. Epic goes 5th with Skifan 6, and Lucky Nutshot has had a bit of an incident there. Down, he's lost it out of, I think that's turn 4, and that's the end of one of the tier 2 drivers the evening. It won't be the end of Kofi's evening. He's gone third fastest. I missed the SLR Quattro has gone second fastest. Jaden is going to be one of the next to the line as its Jake mate goes 7th fastest. Next after that is going to be, I think, a Patish Hund, or no, it was El Mas with a 27.4. Jaden, being one of the championship protagonists, could only go 11th fastest for the moment, with Clark setting a very average lap and must have had a bit of a mistake. I'll run back through the standings where we're in this bit of a lull point. Of course, we have, as Clark has retired. Clark has hit the wall out of turn 2 and has retired. So that's unfortunate for Alfa Romeo, who are actually currently leading the Constructors' Championship at the moment. They're winning by 4.5 points. Obviously, after Monza only having 7 laps done, we decided that we'll only have give out half points, which Bogdan Moldovan was winning at the time and picked up 12.5 points. He won't be here tonight, along with his teammate White. Both of them mean not here, mean that Alfa Romeo, who are currently top, may not be top for much longer, especially with Kofi being back for who are the leaders at the moment, Williams. So here's Jaden, P3 in the championship and only 3 points behind George Ansel in the lead. He could possibly get into the lead of the championship. Here's his next lap. It is the fastest of all, and there's no surprise really with that. A brilliant lap from the Williams driver. He goes fastest by 0.4 of a second. That's going to be hard to beat. Back 2 hasn't validated his lap. Ahead of him is Hyper, and he hasn't invalidated any lap so far. He looks to be going smoothly through the first sector here. Currently no messages. And is that the actual quality of the stream? Or okay, if this is the actual, because my quality here at the moment is absolutely terrible. If this is the actual quality, I do very much apologise, and I will try and get it fixed as quickly as I can. Can someone please let me know in the chat if that is the actual, because I'm looking at this quality here and it is absolutely outrageous. It's fine for you, but that means it's fine for pretty much everyone, as Hyper has set a rapid middle sector Not quite near the fastest, although the game says it isn't, but it is a pretty decent one to be proud of here for the Red Bull. His teammate Days, also his tier 2 teammate, is currently running in the top 10. Can both Red Bulls get into the top 10 here, as Hyper is going to come to the line now, and it is a 27.4, brilliant lap time. Splits the Alpine of Lucas Paul and the Haas of El Mas. Goes 6th fastest, a brilliant lap from Hyper. Next driver on a lap, I don't think there's anyone else really. Everyone just on kind of their out laps at the moment. It's a bit of that lull period in the race, as I think Hyper is getting prepared to go again here for the Haas team, who are currently scoring pretty well. El Mas, unfortunately, the retirement from him in Monza actually started the real decline of that race. He'll hope not to do that again today. Currently 5th fastest with a 27.4, pretty decent time, and I'm sure he'll know he can find some more time in that. The predicted pole time around here in tier 1 is a 26.2. So Jaden, do you have 3/10 in that lap is the question. I know George Ansel, currently without a lap time, definitely does, but we'll ride on board with Skifan999, who last time he started a full-time race in a league race was actually in Saudi Arabia of season 4 RSL is what CTCR was called at the time, and now this is his first race back as a full-time driver driving for McLaren here in tier 1. He's expected to have a lot more pace this game than he did on the old game, and he had some rapid pace on the old game, a lot of podiums, a lot of wins, and it could be a lot more here as he's flying through the middle sector, but gets a lot of curb out of turn 12, and it isn't a very, very good first sector at all from the McLaren driver, who's looking to try and improve now here on his second run, as he runs now up down towards turn 16, 17 chicane, probably one of the toughest corners on this track to get right, and he's got it very right there, as now he powers down this back straight all the way down towards the next proper turn, which is 22 and 23. Probably one of the most satisfying corners if he can get it right there. Flick the car left, then flick the car right, and now this is probably the best overtaking opportunity on the track. Although if you do overtake, you're more than likely to get re-overtaken down the main straight as he heads down towards the long left hairpin of turn 27, and Skifan is going to come to the line now. Will it be an improvement? What kind of improvement can it be? Skifan does improve, only for 11th fastest. So, up next on a lap, I'm actually not setting a lap currently. Most people are invalidated so far. George Ansel is on a lap powering down through the back straight at the moment. We'll see if he actually is when it comes to his time. I don't know if he is or not. A 1:03.9 currently. He seems to be trying to go flat out, so I'm sure he is. Burning that ERS, he is. So he is on a lap here, going down now towards turn 27. Is this going to be the lap that maybe hits the predicted pole time? We'll have to see. He's yet to set a banker, so I'm sure that's at least going to be his objective here, is to get a lap time on the board, and he has decided to get a lap time on the board. He wants a much more bigger improvement. He's going to have to do that. 3/10 up is epic, and this could be an epic lap and put him into the 1:27.9s, and that'd be very good for what is a tier 3 driver. Here he goes to the line, and it's even better, a 27.8, and the tier 3 driver is up into the top 10. Only one other tier 3 driver has ever scored points in WLR, and that is Kyan, who unfortunately isn't here today, but I'm sure he'd love to be. He's been probably one of the most highest attending drivers at the moment, and I've got to give fair play to him, because there's a lot of drivers that aren't attending. Here's SLR Quattro to the line, lost a bit of time in the final sector, could only improve to stay in his position. There's an Aston Martin next to cross the line, although I think it is also a Mercedes first of WLR Harrison. We'll see if he can get a competitive lap time on the board. He's still yet to set a banker, along with back two are the only two, him and George Ansel, the only two other drivers to not set a banker and that can set a banker, as WLR Harrison goes to the front row with a 26.7. That's a very decent banker, and if he can get maybe 5 more tenths out of that lap, he could be on pole position, as back 2 does set his banker with a 28.8. As I think then there's a Haas of a Patish Hund who's coming into the pits. Days is currently on a lap at the moment, but he is not finishing it. He is into the pits. Epic is the same. Into the pits he goes. There's a Ferrari, I think, and that's SLR Quattro. So I think next person on a lap is it's Jake May, who's 4 seconds down. So maybe he isn't on a lap. There's an Alfa Romeo ahead of him. That's back 2 who isn't on a lap. Then it's Harrison, who also isn't on a lap. So a lot of drivers here just not quite on a lap yet. Lucas Paul is. He's going through the middle sector, and he is 3 tenths up. 3 tenths up through the first sector is definitely something to be very proud of, considering you're already in the top 10. We'll see what he can do now in the middle sector. Lucas Paul, we'd love to see him get a lot more pace. Of course, didn't really have as much pace as we thought he would in the Spanish Grand Prix, probably one of his home tracks, considering he is a Spanish speaking driver. And as he heads towards the end of sector 2, will he improve even more? Still 3 tenths up, so almost identical. As it looked like he ran a bit wide though, and he's hit the wall. Has he lost all the time there? I don't know, as a Patish Hund leaves the session, and the Argentinian is powering down that back straight now towards the final corner. Has he game time or has he not? Out of the final corner he goes now. DRS opened. Lucas Paul is going to come to the line, and he lost it all. He lost it all in the final sector. As it looked, going through that chicane, it can kill your lap. Although it being so satisfying, it really can ruin laps, and it's ruined his lap there. Jaden is out, and he's out to set his final lap, I think. No, he is not. He is just setting 2 warm-up laps before he goes again here. Oh, almost runs back into the back of Lucas Paul, but he just about avoids him. So Jaden, yeah, as I guessed, 1 second down, is not setting a competitive lap. I don't know if Lucas Paul is going to be able to back off and then maybe go again. He won't have time to come into the pits, so he's going to hope that he packed enough fuel. Elementary says he hasn't, so I think that could be the end of qualifying for Lucas Paul, unfortunately for him. But it's going to be, there's no one on a lap at the moment, so it's going to be Jaden who's going to be the first to set his final lap, as everyone is starting to peel out of the pits around now. So Jaden's going to hope now that all those drivers that are peeling out of the pits do so in a quick manner, so his lap doesn't get disturbed. As I see a Haas there leaving the pit lane, and I think a Patish Hund is looking for a re-invite to the session, which I better get before there's some session issues. So Jaden gets underway here for his final lap of the session. Can he improve on his time? 3 tenths should be pole position. We'll see if he can do it or not. As he goes through turn 1 and 2 now, quite clean now as he heads down towards turn 4, and then onto the tricky S's of Jeddah. Probably if you get this part of your lap wrong, then your lap is completely gone. So this is where an experienced driver like Jaden is going to have to be absolutely spot on with his driving, and that was very, very clean, and gets a little bit of a toe off the Haas. He is 4 tenths up in his time. This could maybe be a 125 lap if he can improve even more throughout the rest of the lap. If that happens, well, that will just blow us all away, won't it? Through the next chicane now, through 16 and 17, and onto the next back straight here. This goes through pretty much opposite to where sector 1 is, and all the way then down towards the 22-23 chicane. This is where some people's laps have gone horribly wrong. He's had to correct it, but he's still done quite well through it, as he's still 4 tenths up, as back 2 has retired, I think, in the pit lane. As he's heading now down towards turn 27. Will he do what possibly Max Verstappen done, or will he get his lap that he so needs to get. Out of the final corner he goes now. Here comes the Williams driver of Jayden. What will it be? It's a 26-1. 4/10 up on his time, better than the predicted pole, and his provisional pole by 6/10 of a second. Wow, what a lap that is. Alex is next across the line as El Mas starts his time. What can Alex Zien do? He can only stay third fastest. SLR Quattro starting his lap time along with its Jake mate. Then it is Hyper, and then its teammate of Days. Behind him is a Patish Hund. After that, I think is a Mercedes of Marshy, who's coming to the end of his lap. So this is the end of the Mercedes lap of Marshy. Can he improve? He can. He goes 8th fastest. Next across the line is Epic, just barely up in his time. Can he improve by more? No, he can't. WLR Harrison, only starting a lap. Ski Fan is next. 2/10 up. He goes, and he can't improve. He lost it all through, I think, the final corner. Next across the line is Kofi. 6/10 up. It's the front row. It's a Williams 1-2 currently. That is a brilliant lap from Kofi. And it's joy for the team leading the constructors at the moment. Has George Ansell got anything to say about both of those laps as the championship leader comes around the final corner? He has DRS opened and to the line he goes. Can't deny Jayden, but he can deny Williams, and he splits the two Williams drivers. Next across the line I think will be El Mas as he's coming now out of the final corner. It doesn't look like he's improving. I don't actually know. I haven't checked the timings. El Mas does improve. Goes 5th fastest. SLR Quattro, another one. Powering to the line here. Where can he go? It's 3rd fastest for him. It's Jake Mate. Goes 8th fastest. Followed now by Hyper. Hyper goes 8th fastest. Next is Days. And after that I think will be the Mercedes of Harrison. Days goes 11th. Harrison now. He is 10 seconds down, so it won't be him. Marshy, I think, tried to improve again. He hasn't been able to. Next, I think, is one of the McLarens of possibly, I think that was an AlphaTauri. No wing for a Patish Hund. Ski Fan is finished. Jayden is finished. Harrison is finished. That is qualifying finished. And it is Jayden on pole for, I think, the first time this season. He wasn't on pole in Spain where he won from 3rd on the grid. He didn't race in Hungary. He wasn't able to get pole, I don't think, in Monza. Ended up finishing 2nd. George Ansell, I think, has been on pole for every race this season, and Jayden has put a stop to that. The Williams driver goes fastest of anyone, and what was always known for an entertaining qualifying has given us one today. Jayden on pole from George Ansell, then from his teammate Kofi. Next up is the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. So it's Jayden, the Dutchman, on pole from George Ansell, 2/10 ahead of him. George Ansell actually set, well, no, he didn't set. So Jayden, even if he did set the predicted pole time, he would have been on pole. So he done one even better. SLR Quattro in the Ferrari goes 3rd with a 26.5, and he says he's so bad at quali. I don't think that is very bad indeed. Kofi in 4th with Harrison 5th and El Mas 6th. Alex CEN 7th with Hyper in 8th. It's Jake May and Marshy round out the top 10 with Days in 11th and Lucas Paul in 12th. He had a really good lap on but was unable to do anything. Epic 13th, Ski Fan 14th, a Patish Hund 15th. I think it was back 2 in 16th. I think Clark was 17th with Lucky Nutshot unable to set a time. I was able to remember it all. Yeah, let me see if I can get the quality into max, and if it actually, yeah, that is perfect. Jesus, it's just my quality for some reason was on 144. Gained 5/6 and gained 1 position. Yep, well, Hyper, I think there's a reason you aren't in Tier 1 anymore, and it's clear just because you're not up to pace. But here, if you're in the top 10 in a Tier 1 race, I know it's predominantly dominated by reserves and Tier 2 drivers at the moment, but you're getting into the top 10, you're securing a place definitely for next season. The more people race, the more I want them in the tier. 18 drivers tonight was a miracle, because this morning I was looking and I would be happy if we got 8. Hopefully the formation lap works unlike what it did last night and we can get underway without any restarts whatsoever. It is, because none of the cars are revving too heavily, and Jaden gets underway for the formation lap here in the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. So it's Jaden, George, and so there's no there's no grid penalties, which I'm very happy to see, because the last thing you want to see is people picking up penalties for some of the most stupid actions you could see. As Jaden is going now down towards turn 13. And around the cars go. We'd hope to have another very clean formation lap as well. Last thing I hate to see is people getting disqualified on formation lap. I say that, and our 2 Swiss drivers of Skifan and Apatic Shund have collided, and they are out of the formation lap. Oh, is it going to have to be like CTCR where I start asking for footage on these and seeing who's getting penalties, because it is really annoying to see it. I'm not going to be too picky on that. We'll just let the cars race and see what they can do. Jaden flying through the pack at the moment. We hope to see a clean getaway. I know it's very unlikely going into Jeddah. There's going to be lads who want to be superheroes. We'll have to see whether they are superheroes or not. Jaden goes to the final corner now. He's about to get underway. So, as the cars... Ooh, is that Kofi? Kofi loses the car. Out of the final corner. And has picked... Well, I don't think he's done anything other than just picked up a bit of tyre wear. Jaden is lined on the grid. So now we just wait for Lucky Nutshot next to start to come to the line. And then we can get underway here in Saudi Arabia. It's going to be just us waiting. Don't have any really good camera angles at the moment. Nope, this is all we've got. So here we go to 5 red lights here for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go. And who was that Alfa Romeo? Who was that Alfa Romeo in pause? No, that's a session restart now. Yep. Alright. Nothing's too good to be true, is it? Never. Just never to be true. Back to decides to do what he wants to do. So I'm gonna have to do this again. There it is. Everybody should have an invite there. Okay, trying to figure this out. Fortunately, it's been not an easy process, but I have the grid beside me, so it should be quite simple enough. Kofi, WO or Harris. And of course, all the fast guys had to join last. Elmas, and after Elmas was Alex N. After Alex was Hyper. After Hyper was it's Jake Mate, then it was I'm Marshy, then I think it was Lucas, no it was Days, then Lucas Paul, Epic, Ski Fan, Clark, Lucky Nutshot. I don't know, Back 2 has been disqualified for his, say, shenanigans, we should say. And he is in. He is ahead of Clark, behind his friend, and we are ready to get on the way. Just make sure that is definitely the grid. It is, and I think we are ready to ready up again for the second time. So we're finally about to get on the way. Anyone like to throw in some more predictions, maybe? In case anyone... Actually, I haven't even shared this into the Discord yet. What am I doing? We're not going to be getting any viewers whatsoever if we don't have the stream on Discord. Let's get that going. So the setups are being put in. I think we are ready to maybe get back on the way again. Was Marshy not already in? What's happening there? Oh, don't tell me this shit's gonna happen again, I swear to God. Okay. Let's go again. Here we go. 5 red lights here for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go. It's not going to be a red flag this time as we head down towards turn 1. It's Jaden on the outside. I'm pretty sure that's George Ansel on the inside and into the lead of the race. It's a horrible start from Jaden as Quattro gets up into P2, and then I think his teammate Kofi has jumped him, and I think that's Harrison going to look to do it as well. They don't, but Harrison's clipped him and he's sent them off. They're both off and into the barriers. Next, as they all go now through the next few turns, that's a Haas of I think El Mas into the walls there, or that's a Patish Hund. A crazy start to the race, and it's George Ansel who gets the best start out of anyone. He's up into the lead of the race as the virtual safety car is brought out. And what was a crazy start, and Harrison, I think he's 100% at fault for that. Going down to that corner, you have to be cautious, especially in a train of cars. And the WLR Esports Academy driver has hit the back of Jaden and has put him into the wall and possibly out of this race. From pole position, it's gone from bad to worse, but only a VSC to start this race as we're back and ready to get underway again here as they head through, waiting to get back underway. I think George Ansel speeding up. Maybe that means that we are going to be green flag soon. He's flying through that corner anyway. No time at all to be wasted here. Everyone seems to be still caught up quite well. Nobody's dropped back amazingly. So we'll keep an eye and see how things go. SLR Quattro will be ready to get right on the back. Kofi's going to have to be careful not to be side by side, as we are green flags and we are back underway, and Quattro has got a great getaway and he's going to really get on the back of George Ansel here in the slipstream. He's going to look to go maybe round the outside into turn 1. George Ansel's going to be defensive to the inside and he's going to be able to keep the place. Quattro, a little bit of a snap of oversteer means that he won't be able to keep the place as now we head all the way up towards turn 4. Everyone seems to get away quite cleanly through it. So I think that is Lucas Paul and Lucky Nutshot having a bit of a battle there. Harrison and a Patish Hund all into the pits. I think Jaden is carrying on whether he has damage or not, but George Ansel's out in front from the Ferrari of SLR Quattro, and Kofi in third just behind, as I think that's Hyper going down the inside of Alex here. Red Bull versus AlphaTauri, and the Red Bull driver comes up in front and is now currently on the edge of a podium place here as he gets by the Romanian reserve there in the AlphaTauri. Brilliant overtake from Hyper down the inside of turn 13. There's nothing better, is there? Kofi getting right onto the back. All 3 of the attackers all getting quite close there, as I think that's a Patish Hund having trouble out in sector 1 there. George Ansel leading the championship and leading this race, but we'll see for how much longer, as it's 4 at rest here, but something's happened there and I think it could be involving, no, it hasn't involved, it's involving a Alpine of Lucas Paul. Yep, running around with no front wing as Kofi has picked up a penalty and he's dropped to the back. What's happened to Kofi? Kofi, I think, has smashed his wing off SLR Quattro under the virtual safety car. He's picked up a penalty and he's into the pit lane, I think, to go and serve it. With front wing damage? No, he's continued on. Ooh, it's been a crazy start to this race. Lucas Paul, of course, into the pit lane after that front wing damage. We are 3 laps in and we've had 1.5 laps of racing, which, to be fair, was I expecting a load of racing today? Probably not. Am I expecting an entertaining race? Well, I hope so. I'm hoping that it won't be George Ansel to run away with it with Quattro in second and it end up like that. But at the moment, it's a brilliant result for Red Bull. Currently not having the best of constructors themselves. They both their full-time drivers haven't showed up to a race yet. And if I get the stats up here, I don't think they're even in the top 8 at the moment, as Lucas Paul has picked up a drive-through penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car. Red Bull are 5th in the Drivers' Championship. They might not be 5th for much longer. Alpine are doing well, along with George Ansel. He's leading the way here, and he is kind of getting a bit of a tow away from SLR Quattro here on lap 3 here as we go through these corners, but DRS I'm pretty sure is now available to be used in the Ferrari's front wing. Red Bull have a massive amount of front straight line speed though. Hyper's closing in, Quattro is closing in. Hyper's going to go round the outside, or down the inside I should say, of Quattro, but Quattro has managed to keep the place by getting the better exit as they go side by side here. Skifan has retired out of final corner, and that is him out of this race, and he has plucked up pretty much the entire track, and it is a safety car, the first and probably not the last this afternoon. So not the return he wanted to this race. Skifan in P15, well not P15, sorry, out of the race. The cars all slow down. Quattro or George Ansel has missed the safety car, which means that we'll have to stay out for a little bit longer. We'll have to go for a little bit longer. So Harrison's back into the pits. I'm sure Covey may want to maybe come into the pits soon. Now that I think of that, let's look at the tyre options. We haven't even got a chance to look at that at all. George Ansel starting on the mediums, Jaden on the mediums, Harrison has came on to the hards. Most drivers all starting on the mediums. Only 3 drivers have made a pit stop so far. I wonder if any of the soft runners are going to come in maybe for the hards. The first maybe to take a hit, obviously no wonder why Hyper and Days had so much straight line speed there to running the soft compounded tyre. I'm sure maybe Kofi or Clark, who have got some good positions already now off there where they started off, well obviously not Kofi but Epic and Clark did, they may consider coming into the pits. Now the question is, does Hyper? He doesn't. Days doesn't either. Epic does. No he doesn't. SLR SRT Clark does. He has taken the gamble. He's hoping that this is a little bit of contact going in there. They're all taking their time. They've all gone in. Now I knew Clark, it's a gamble to take. He'll come out in P11, which is only going to be 2 places lower than where he originally started. He'll be on the hards until the end, and if he does somehow make sure that there is no more if he does somehow make sure that there is no more safety cars, then he could be in prime position for winning this race. Now, the chance of no more safety cars, very unlikely, but this is our tier 1. This should be the group of individuals that are going to show that there won't be safety cars, as Lucas Paul has retired in the pits, and that is him finished with this Grand Prix. So that is 2 out, 15 to go on lap 5 of 25 in the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. This is the time where there's not much for me to cover. Does anybody have any opinions for me to say in the chat? George is lagging bad according to SLR Quattro. Doesn't seem to be doing too bad now on the stream's point of view. I think that is just quite unfortunate. Kofi in the mud, Oven Curry says. Well, I'm not going to disagree with you, but if the mud is 8th place, well, I wonder what's below it. Yeah, obviously the penalty's unfortunate, and I'm sure there's going to be maybe a Stewart's inquiry that's going to go in towards that, but at the moment we still have to wait for Harrison, and of course a very long way back of what is a Patish Hund to get back to the field, and we can get back underway. I have to say, other than maybe Harrison and Jaden, it's been a very clean start. The only reason the safety car is out is because of a crash, and not necessarily because of any particularly bad driving with other cars. Like, the last thing I hate to see is incidents. In Ireland for the first time watching this, well, there's no better place to watch it. Oh, and I've been doing it for I don't know how many races. This is, I think, my 4th Saudi Arabian Grand Prix I'm commentating on. And, well, I don't know if it's my favourite. So Red Bull now, because George Ansel, where's George Ansel gone? George Ansel spun. He's lost the car, and he's down to 15th. Hold on, I missed that. I would have got it on the stream though. Where did George Ansel lose the car there? He's lost it out of turn 5 it seems, and is down to last place. So SLR Quattro leads this race. And, well, what has been not the best start to George Ansel's career here in WLR. Like, obviously, still yet to get that race win after 3 pole positions, and it doesn't look like he's going to get another race win today, unless with some extreme luck he manages to get back up to the field. And I don't know if Jaden is going to be another driver to get it, and Bogdan obviously won't get it because he's not even here. So it might be, for the first time, a brand new winner, and my odds are on possibly SLR Quattro to win and go to the top of the championship, possibly doing so, as Marshy has also had, what is this, all this crazy stuff going on here. I don't know how it's ended up happening. It's not necessarily from a bad restart. As we can see them now go around turn 27. It's Quattro, ready to get back underway. And he's off. And we're going here in Jeddah, and there's front wing flying all over the place down to the just before the start finish straight. And as we head into turn 1, Quattro keeps the lead from the Red Bulls, and then El Mas in the Haas. Alex in the Alpha Terriers. Kofi's jumped epic and has got up into P6 as they go side by side here down towards turn 4. Kofi has the place. Everyone else seems to get away quite smoothly as George Ansel and Lucky Nutshot both take a trip into the pit lane. SLR Quattro's tyres are definitely looking a lot nicer than Hyper's. He's already gained half a second of a gap. Kofi's lost the car and he smacked the barriers, but I think he's just managed to keep his front wing intact. He has lost 2 places and possibly 2 more here because of that, as I think that Harrison and Clark both trying to swoop by him, as Kofi again gets touched by Harrison, who hasn't been the cleanest of drivers today and is now being swarmed by absolutely everyone here. He's trying to keep place, but that's a Patishund who's lost the car and has damaged his front wing. Luckily, no virtual safety car or anything just as yet. Marshy is the last of that train. He must have had some sort of incident down there before the start finish straight. As Jaden and Kofi, the only 2 drivers with penalties, being both Williams drivers, and both kind of holding each other up here at the moment. Hyper is right on the back of SLR Quattro here, and I don't want to miss possibly an overtake for the lead of the race here, as that's Clark who's lost it out of the final corner. Is it damage? It is damage, and he is gonna have to take a trip back into the pits, as that's Hyper. Oh, a big battle here down here at turn 1, as El Mas and Alex has jumped the 2 Red Bulls and is up into the podium places, as that's Marshy, I think, and a Patishund having a collision, and what was a very entertaining lap and a half of racing has come to an end, and another safety car is out for all of the shenanigans happening here at the moment. Well, that was definitely quite the So now it's time for SLR Quattro and all of those runners all to come into the pits. Piper is slowing down the field a bit. That isn't legal. He's going to have to be a bit careful with that now. Oh, well, not really, because Days has just continued on, along with WLR Harrison, and into the lead of the race. I wonder if SLR Quattro is going to keep the lead of the race. It's looking like he will be able to stay in P3. He's one for knowing how to drive Jetta very, very well, and he could be driving it very, very well indeed today. He's already currently in a net lead. Days is going to go even longer here on these softs, which is only going to compromise his race even more than he already had to compromise it. At the moment, the top 10 is definitely looking interesting, with George Ansell still all the way down in last place at the moment. I'd love to see a clean getaway. I don't know if we'll get one, but I hope we do soon enough. Everyone just seems to be thinking that they're superheroes at the moment, trying to get a place on the podium, which is never really going to happen. "14 people watching the stream, and I wouldn't mind a few more comments. Interesting comments here to maybe have a bit of a commentate on. The tier 2 race was really boring at one point. The closest gap was 5.9. Yep, so this definitely hasn't been boring, but I think the safety car is very common, is quite annoying, but only 2 so far, which I can't really complain at much. Red Bull on fire, well, yeah, they are, but Days is gonna probably drop to last if there's, with his next pit stop, and you in 6th doesn't necessarily mean you're on the podium so far. I'd also like you to concentrate maybe a little bit more on your driving. So Oven Curry, the tier 2 Red Bull pair quicker in tier 1. Maybe they are, maybe they deserve to be, but the tier 1 grid that we have should really be a lot quicker. The only reason it's not is, of course, because of the problems we have with attendance at the moment. I don't know if tier 2 is much cleaner now, Oven Curry. I'm sure there's a few drivers I'd love to take off tier 2, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's cleaner. And I think there are a few drivers that I would really love to take, but they can't either drive Saturdays, or either that, or they're just not going to show up enough. So I think I like the grid we have currently going at the moment. They all seem to be doing quite well. I'd just like to see if maybe a few of them don't hit the barriers as much. If not, WLR Harrison will just hit another car instead. So it's all down to what they want to do at the end of the day. Days on 9-lap old softs is going to get us underway here. Tier 2 is cleaner in my heart. Well, Oven, I think you should maybe stay there then and keep commentating it. Either that or you'll be racing in it, as its Jake mate has picked up penalties. Lads are focusing on something that isn't, as Marshy's back in. Happy days. Ooh. Lads are really being a bit stupid here under the safety car. Shouldn't be going side by side anyway. We are waiting for that Red Bull to get going. Everyone seems to be going quite smoothly here. You can see them all as Days is definitely taking his time, and he's gone. He is gone now, and he's heading down towards turn 1. And I think that's also the Haas and AlphaTauri side by side into turn 1. Nobody's hit the barriers yet, which is a good sign. There are cars trading places though, which is a normal thing. Days keeps the lead of the race from Harrison in second. Quattro still remains in third. El Mas and Alex are fighting, with Hyper getting also close to the two of them. Days is seeming to break away here because Quattro is absolutely flying in the hards, as that's Imershi spinning and out surely of this race now, as that's Days getting an awful lot of oversteer and is almost off the track pretty much, as long with Harrison. Quattro is going to try to dive down the inside of Harrison. Is he going to get the 2 places? Here he is, as Harrison has done another murder job and has spun yet another car today. He's almost like a bowling ball right now, the amount of strikes he has, and that is yet again another safety car. Harrison has more strikes than a professional bowler right here, and in that Mercedes is definitely showing his true Valtteri Bottas impression at the moment. He has been absolutely ruthless, and that is, I think, the third driver he has taken out in 11 laps. So SLR Quattro, I'd be afraid, because you are next. I wonder what WLR are seeing in this guy. He's maybe the assassin to take out the rest of the drivers, but we'll see anyway what happens. It is safety car number 3, Owen. See, and to be honest, I don't think it was much of a safety car. Like, unless the car's in the wall, I really don't see why it should be a safety car. What's a Patishun doing here? As George Ansel has been disqualified. George Ansel has been disqualified for blocking up the pit lane. Patish Hund has hit the wall again. It's another disappointing result for George Ansel, the driver leading the championship. Well, he isn't necessarily leading it off. Very satisfying results. A P2 from what could have been a win in Spain, P3 from a very scrappy Hungary, P5 after spinning out in Monza, and is currently disqualified from the Grand Prix. Wow, that is definitely something to comment on. At the moment, we don't understand what happened. I'm sure we'll want to find out, as Imershi has picked up a penalty for a collision with his Jake mate, as WOR Harrison overtakes Quattro and comes into the pits, and he is going to make a pit stop to now probably go till the end of the race. Mediums for Harrison. She is also going to get some new tyres on here as he serves his penalty with his collision with his Jake mate. Patish Hund will jump both Mercedes and up in the P12. It's our third safety car, and we have 14 drivers remaining. However many more we get, well, it's down to the game and, well, whatever they want to throw at us. 12 laps to go. We are midway through this Grand Prix, and we have currently been going at this for just over an hour now, and Jeddah is normally supposed to be one of the quickest races on the calendar. It's only a short quali and 25 laps seems so quick, but if it's constantly under safety car, then there's no real point, is there? Had one at Baku, 5 safety cars on Thursday. These guys are trying to beat that, it seems. We'll have to find out. I'm thinking the less drivers there are, the less chance there is of safety car. So I think everyone on similar tyre wear, you'd expect nothing else crazy to happen, but Harrison has a full row of bowling pins ahead of him here now. He could absolutely send one into the turn one and get what is truly a strike. I think the quicker we see him hit the barriers and retire from the race, I think the quicker we see the checkered flag. So it is all down to what the drivers can do. 5 safety cars is quite a lot to beat. I think the limit is 6, so if we hit the limit, that's something to praise. If you consider that a praise. Al Mas is doing extremely well in the Haas, I've just realised, and currently we have a tier 3 driver running in the podium places, so we'll see how long that lasts. But at the moment our focus is on the Ferrari of SLR Quattro, 4th in the championship, and a win today could put him in 1st. We'll see now as he's waiting and waiting to get underway here, and he is gone. It's a good getaway from him. It's also a great getaway from Epic, and it looks like Hyper has also got a great getaway, possibly on Alex. Going to try it into turn 1. Quattro keeps the lead. Hyper's going to try it here on Alex. They're side by sides as Jake May cuts the corner along with a Patishun and has picked up a penalty. Epic has also picked up a penalty, and I think that could be for corner cutting as well. As we are now going through, everything seems to be running quite smoothly. I'm going to keep an eye maybe on Marshy on the back, because he's going to be the one that catches everyone maybe spinning and hitting the wall, and one person in the wall is a Patish Hund with his suspension gone and is out of this race, as Quattro already almost a second gap to the other Haas of El Mas. Luckily, thank God, no safety car for the crash from a Patish Hund, probably more of a safety car than the last 3. And here goes Alex and Hyper side by side here, but it's looking like Alex has kept the place as they all go through. Everyone seems to be going quite smoothly, although it looks to be very, very scrappy indeed here. Cars being almost thrown all over the place here, as it's this high speed section that can cause so much carnage, and it has caused carnage, because Daves, and I think he's been spun by Harrison again, who is currently now picked up his 4th strike of the day, as he's getting a good slipstream here on Kofi. Is he going to maybe take him out as well? Nope, he manages to keep the place. He's going to actually pull off a lovely move instead. He goes round the outside and takes down P8. Well, from taking out one driver to then absolutely annihilating another in other ways other than taking him out. And there it is again, a big crash. Kofi and Harrison have collided and smacked the barriers, and Harrison has then decided to retire and leave the session. And to be honest, did I see it coming? I seen it coming a mile away. He is out of the race. And luckily again, thank God for no safety car here. 3 safety cars in, as Quattro has already gained 1.5 seconds on the car in 2nd place and is kind of steaming away here at the moment. Epic has managed to keep up well, as Clark has hit the barriers there out of turn 12, but again, luckily no safety car. 11 drivers left, and Kofi running around with no front wing thanks to the bowling ball of Harrison. Means he is doing quite well. He's overtaken by Days, and he's going to have to cruise it back to the pits, as Quattro is losing a bit of time here to El Mas. Whether, I don't know what under circumstances that is, maybe just a little bit of a mistake, we'll have to find out, as El Mas is under pressure from cars behind, but seems to be dealing with it quite okay. He's getting good exits and has been able to break away from the McLaren just enough, and well, he'll probably comfortably get into P1, but when that DRS is enabled, things do start to become a little bit more tricky. Mas keeps the place for now as it's Jake May sets the fastest lap of the race. Lucky Nutshot, I'm Marshy having a nice little battle here down in turn 1. Lucky Nutshot manages to get the place, but I'm Marshy getting a better exit there as Kofi retires from the race, and Lucky Nutshot gets by Marshy and is up into P8, as now we've gone from 17 to only 10 runners left. Lucky Nutshot keeps the place there, and that little battle with Marshy. All the rest of these cars ahead are battling for what is potentially that podium place and lead of the race soon, if Quattro doesn't get a little bit further ahead than he already has. I think definitely the last few laps have been very, very quality indeed, as Alex is gaining on the McLaren of Epic here, down towards the 22-23 chicane here. We'll see what he can do. He's going to have DRS, so will Epic, but he's well behind Mas at the moment. Although he is gaining on him, so is Alex. Is Alex going to be able to take the place and get up into the podium places? He almost goes straight into the back of him. He has to lock up, and it's hit the wall, and he's going to invite Jaden really to get right on the back of him now. Whether Jaden's picked up damage, we'll have to find out. Alex has DRS again, and it's going to try it maybe down into turn 1. They all going to have to stay put. It did Alex pick up a bit of damage there after colliding with the wall, trying to overtake Epic. We'll have to find out sooner rather than later. Jaden definitely didn't. He'll be looking to get back up into the podium places and hunt for his lead of the championship. The Williams driver's been so unlucky, and there's every right to be, as he is gaining on Alex here down towards turn 13. Definitely an overtaking opportunity. He's going to try it around the outside here on the fresher tyres. Is it going to be the move that he's waiting to get? Yes, it is. Jaden is up into P4, and how quickly will it be before he's up into P3? He'll have DRS here, and Epic won't here on the run down towards turn 22, and he's already side by side before it's enabled for him. When he gets that rear wing flap open now, he is pretty much already a car length ahead, and now is going to start to close in on the Haas of Mas. Now, as Quattro still contains his 1.7 lead out in front. As now Jaden, with that DRS again, is gaining very quickly on the Haas. He's not going to get it done on this straight, but I'm sure now, as he gets a great exit out of turn 27 and on the run to 1, he will open DRS on the Haas and is going to fly by him and up into P2. Jaden has been absolutely incredible there in those last few laps, and if he can gain 1.5 seconds soon, we may see him take the lead of the race and his second race win of the season. We'll find out in at least another lap's time, because the rest of the cars behind are all battling for the remaining places here. High points finishes 4, 5 and 6 are 12, 10 and 8. It's a lot of points you'd like to be picking up here today, and it's Alex, Epic and it's Jake May all trying to do it. We'll see now as Jake May gets a bit unsettled there coming out of turn 12 down towards turn 13 now. All the cars stay quite same as Jaden is gaining on SLR Quattro already, really close to the back of the Ferrari. Not as close as you'd hope to be, but I'm sure he may be able to get a move done sooner rather than later. I'd love to just ride on board with this guy, because I want to see what on earth he does that I don't. He has been an absolutely amazing driver to watch this season, and I think he's going to show that again, as he doesn't even push himself through 22 and 23, just in good shape. He knows he has the pace, and on the fresher tyres he'll be able to get by Quattro, as Alex is going to get by Epic, and so is its Jake mate. But that's not what we're going to watch here. We're going to watch Jaden, who is gaining with DRS here. Quattro's been leading for a few laps, but after Jaden picks up the fastest lap, he also picks up the lead of the race. Down into turn 1, the Dutch Williams driver is in front, and what a lap or a overtake it was. Maybe not the most entertaining around the outside stuff like he did with Alex, but definitely a very, very strong drive it's been, from pole to the back of the grid and back on pole. By far the driver of the day, and he'll show that again if he starts to gain away here on the final 7 laps of this race. It's looking like we have our podium though, because Quattro will probably fall up behind soon. El Mas is 3 seconds behind, but also 1.5 seconds ahead of its Jake mate, who is currently with a 3-second penalty, so he won't be able to pick up possibly another podium for him. He's never picked up one before in CTCR or WLR, and I'm sure his pace shows that he will be able to pick up one, and my odds are maybe in Britain. We'll have to find out with that. Epic is doing really well for a tier 3 driver, and although I think he is gonna finally meet his match here with Alex going right round the outside into turn 27, he does have to concede the place, but he has been excellent so far, and Jaden extends his fastest lap with a 30.2 now. Epic, well, I say has met his match. He's doing quite a good job there indeed, and he's got straight back by Alex, and he's up in the 5th place. So a brilliant overtake. A bit of psychology there from the McLaren driver, letting almost the AlphaTauri by, and then gets back by him on the main straight. Some smart plays from a driver who may not be of the pace of the rest of the field. He sure knows how to outsmart them. He's up in the 5th yet again. Crucially, Hyper's picked up a penalty, which means that he won't be able to get the place on Epic, or maybe even it's Jake May here, which isn't going to help him, and especially if Marshy has the pace to close in on the Red Bull, he may have to lose a few places, and Red Bull, who he said apparently were on fire, are going to be on fire down in the low points places instead of where, well, they thought they would be. Alex getting right onto the back of the McLaren again. He won't go for a move now. Now, will he go for a move? He has a 1.2 second gap, and he doesn't want to lose too much of it. Will he go for the move again on the McLaren? He is, and he's miles by him. Now, he'll want to get as far ahead as possible so he can stay ahead. But I don't think he's going to be far enough ahead, because Epic is going to get another good exit. DRS to aid him again. He's going to go back round the outside, and Epic retakes P5 and is back up and is disturbing Alex so much, which is doing a job for its Jake mate, who may get to ahead of 3 seconds of Alex and able to keep his P4. The McLaren driver is outsmarting the whole field here at the moment, as he is running comfortably in P5, getting overtaken before overtaking again. This has been a brilliant little battle to watch. We'll see. I think Alex doesn't mind this, because as long as he isn't overtaken by Hyper, he'll get ahead of Epic, and Epic won't get ahead of him before the line, so he'll be able to keep at least a P5 for AlphaTauri. It's been definitely, since the last safety car, it's been a brilliant few races to watch, few laps to watch, and I have really enjoyed this. He is living up to his name, Owen, his epic name, with his epic brain, you could say. That's, I think you can just see the lucky nutshot there flying through. He's on fresh softs. I don't know if he'll even be able to set the fastest lap, how quick Jaden has been on those mediums. We'll see now. Alex again is going to have DRS on the McLaren. Is he going to finally maybe just stay behind? No, he's going to go back by him again. But this time, yep, no, he's back by him. And Epic, will he be disturbed a bit more by Hyper this time and not be able to get by him? Alex has definitely got a better exit, but DRS, so powerful here. And Epic, with DRS, is going to go down the inside here this time and is back up into P5. 3 laps in a row, and Alex hasn't seemed to cop on. He's kind of like Perez here at the moment. He isn't seeming to cop on what the driver ahead is doing to him. Almost like Perez and Sainz in Austria. Instead, it's Epic and Alex in Saudi Arabia. It's kind of like the battle Leclerc and Verstappen had, although it is going on a lot longer. Alex, maybe he might try and get back by him instead on this next straight after I think the 16-17 chicane. We'll find out now. He'll have to get a lot closer to him than he has on previous laps. It's Jake Mates closed up to El Mas here out of nowhere. I tell you, with 3 laps to go, if he can maybe force a bit of a mistake to El Mas, there's no reason he might be able to get by him and gain 3 seconds from him. He is well within the DRS here at the moment and is going to hunt down this straight. I don't think he is going to be smart, I'd say, about this now. Yep, he's doing what Alex should have been doing for the whole rest of the race, as Alex has got back by Epic again. I think we know how that's going to end, but this is going to be the interesting one, because it's Jake Mate on the back of El Mas, is going to go for it here into turn 1, and it's Jake Mate is up into the podium place. Now we'll see, with 3 laps to go, can he get far enough ahead? As look at that, Epic back by Alex, and it back into 5th place. And it's Jake May has got well far ahead of the drivers, so it looks like he's definitely going to be able to pick up at least a P4. And I tell you, he has gained already a second on El Mas. Could this be it's Jake Mate's first podium in his I think his new regulation, you could say, career? He hasn't got one at all in CTCR or WLR. His last race win was in SNR. That was a very long time ago, and same with his podium. I'd love to see it. If he does it or not, we'll have to find out. El Mas is just going to try and keep in that gap. Alex is now falling away a bit from Epic. If Epic can start to maybe push on a little bit, he might be able to keep P5 for himself. He's definitely at least secured himself as strong as it's Marshy is going to try and pick up the fastest lap here. I think that's for pride rather than anything else, because it looked like he was going to pick up a comfortable P8 otherwise. Alex has dropped far out of DRS. Now whether that's tactical, maybe he's going to try and close in on Epic here now down towards turn 27 and get a better exit. Is this going to be finally the time the AlphaTauri driver gets back by? Although it looks like El Mas has gained on its Jake May here the last few laps, and as we head into the penultimate lap of the race, El Mas, as they go side by side into here to turn 1, it's not going to be too easy. You have to cut the corner, El Mas, and they've both lost almost a car. El Mas keeps the place. It's Jake Mate's dropped, and I don't know now. It's Jake Mate definitely will bring that into the report room, and he may pick up a penalty. We don't know. We'll see. El Mas definitely cut the corner there to overtake, so that's maybe possibly even already an illegal overtake. Epic is still out in 5th place at the moment, and Alex is going to be pleased to see that his Jake Mate's penalty is still obviously on, and I'm pretty sure everyone only has 3 seconds of penalties. Yep, no one has 6, which is quite surprising. It's Jake Mate's going to be on the back of El Mas, and Alex is going to be, well, right on the back of the McLaren, as he always has been. He's been a lot closer to McLaren this time on this little mini straight down towards 22 and 23. If he can get by, he is actually a genius, that's true. Alex, ooh no, he's decided to back off here. He's going to go again here, and he's going to try it on this back straight yet again. Now whether he's just saving the battery, it doesn't look like he is, because the steering wheel says he has very little battery. Now, is he going to go for it this time? Yep, he's back. Alex must not be a very, very bright driver. Although, look at that. Hyper's now joined the equation. And this may make it a bit more difficult for Epic to get by, because Hyper is going to try and disturb him a little bit. Epic has DRS. He is again gaining on Alex so much more. Is he going to be able to get by though this time? He's going to launch it down the inside like he always does. This time there's contact, and Alex has to cut the corner and pick up a penalty. That may be removed. Alex and Epic has got the place. That's going to be something that we will definitely look at. And Alex has also lost out to Hyper now. So now everyone here in this battle has 3 seconds of penalties. We enter the last lap of the race. Jaden leads. It's Jake Mate still on the back of El Mas as Alex gets by Hyper. Hyper's hit the wall, and it's P7 at best for the Red Bull. Whether he spun or he had contact, it's unfortunate. He is out of the rest of this race as Marshy gets by a spinning looking nutshot here at the end. It's Jake Mate is gaining on El Mas. We'll come back to him because we'll focus on Jaden, who for the first time in his career has been on pole in a race after a brilliant qualifying, went on pole, and after being almost at the back of the grid at one stage this race, has now come to cross the line and win the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, his second win of the season, and it's SLR Quattro to take home another podium. He finishes his best finish so far in second. It's Jake Mate, got by El Mas. El Mas obviously gets back by him at the end, but only barely because of the penalty. Alex finishes in fifth anyway after finally getting by Epic there and getting it right. So unfortunately, Owen Curry's genius hasn't lived well because Epic, well, couldn't get by there at the end. Red Bulls are going to do a side-by-side finish. Very, very nice from them. Days in 7th, Hyper in 8th. Obviously they know that it's just going to be something to look nice. Obviously with them finishing in 7th and 8th. And it's Marshy to cross the line with a bit of a donut in 9th. And then it's going to be Lucky Nutshot to cross the line in 10th. And I think he is definitely aiming for that Mercedes. Nearly. He just misses him. So since that last safety car, it was definitely a very entertaining race to watch. Jaden wins from Quattro. El Mas, it's Jake Mate, Alex, Epic, Zays and Hyper, Marshy and Lucky Nutshot. There they are, out on the podium, the Dutch flag yet again. You can't escape it, even with Verstappen dominating. You just have to have another Dutch driver, and Jaden takes the lead of the championship for the first time since the round 1. We'll see if he can do it again in Britain. The real question is, will it's Jake Mate get his podium? If there's any sort of report put on himself and El Mas, we'll have to find out. Or maybe he just tries and gets his 3 seconds removed. That's the other thing he may try and do. We'll have to find out. But the real driver of the day today, Jaden, from first on the grid, then from last, is back on pole position here for the championship in WLR. SLR Quattro finishes in second from third on the grid. Probably his best weekend so far, and a track he so much loves. El Mas finishes in third with Jake Mate fourth. Alex eventually got by Epic after a long battle for the rest of pretty much since that last safety car, and Epic, although pulling up a great battle, could only finish in 6th. Days in 7th with Hyper in 8th, both Red Bulls doing well. Marshy in 9th with Lucky Nutshot rounding out the top 10. Kofi, Clark, Harrison, Apatishund, Lucas Paul, Ski Fan, George Ansel, all retirees from where they were on the grid. A very interesting race, as I'll go through the incidents in case people want those penalties removed. This has been a brilliant race. Brilliant. After a quite shaky start, definitely ended a lot better. It has been probably, since other than Hungary, the best race I have seen in WLR, and hoping for more of this to come. We'll see you next week in Britain. Until then, goodbye for now.